Okay. All right, so when you finish your assignment, okay, I want you to not package, but zip your entire solution folder and submit that in. Okay, so what that means is that notice that when you save you have your project all here, it's all open here, right? And the Solution Explorer, you have what's called My First VB Project. This is the name of your project or a solution. Okay, either one is the same thing. And you want to make sure that you copy everything in this folder wherever it's stored at. So right now, if you look at, if you don't know where it's stored, if you click on your project name, it will tell you down here in the project folder, okay, where it is. Okay, you can resize these. So it's inside my window down here. If you don't know how to get there, you can copy this. Just copy that, I think. And you go to your Explorer window out here, like the document or whatever it is. You put it here, right? And it should take you right there. Okay? A shortcut to get there if you don't know where it is. If you know where it is, then you always go there. And then if you go up to the tree here under Visual Studio, I have, like, for example, under projects folder. So you can see I have inside my projects folder. Okay, right here. I have, so in this class, I'll be storing all my projects inside the Visual 2015 projects folder. So this is the one that I'm doing right now. This is what I want you to submit. Okay, don't go in here and don't just submit this file. Okay, or don't go in here and just send me one of these files. Okay, this form1.vb. This one here is this file here, the code you see here, right? And then the VB dot, there's a lot of them. It's called one of the VBX is the designer. Designer is the content of this file here. Okay, so it's not complete. So you have to go out to the project level and this folder here. So what you do is you can just right click on it if you're using Windows. A Mac might be a little bit different, but you can zip it. You can do a 7-zip, or if you have that installed, or if you have a different zipping program, that's fine. Or usually Windows have something called send to and then compressed it. Okay, so compress the entire folder and you have a zip folder, and then you submit this assignment using the entire project folder. Okay, if you submit only one or two of those files in there, it won't work, it won't run, and I won't be able to grade your assignment. I mean, for simple ones like this, it's fine. I can look at the code and I can tell what you did. But as we get later on more complex applications, I need the entire project. So what I do is I download that project, unzip it, I'll get a copy just like this, and I'll just double click on this file, it runs it on my machine, or any machine, right? So that's what you want to do, and I mentioned that in the assignment as well when you submit, how to submit your application. Okay, if you don't remember, I think it's inside the resources folder, and then I believe it's like right down towards the bottom somewhere here. I ask you to how to turn your assignments. Okay, you can look that again. You have any format, zip here or .rar or .7-zip file is fine. And this also shows you a PDF of how you do that. It's an older version, 2012 I think, but it's still the same. Okay, so just make sure you copy the entire folder, zip it, and then upload that to the assignment. Okay, have any questions on that? Now, so that's important, and then I want to talk about the assignment. So in the lab, under Unit 2, lab is inside of practice. If you go in there, have some stuff here to read, and has a Visual Basic Application Studio here at lynda.com. Kind of walk through what we did already. So in the practice exercises, I recommend that you do these in here, either here or when you have time. And then the practice problems that will be relevant to this unit. So down the bottom is we have the lab assignment. Okay, so I ask you to choose 2 exercise problems, between numbers 39 to 44. Just choose 2, any 2 you want.
So just 2, and I don't have to do all of them? Just
For you do all of them. No, just kidding. No, yeah, just pick any 2.
Alright.
So pick any 2 on pages 50 and 51. and then again submit those, and that's like we just did. This is for the lab part. Okay. And then the exercise, the assignment, the project for this unit 1, if on apply folder, if you remember, you should have created the payroll for that flowchart, right? Remember the flowchart?
Yep.
Okay, so now you're gonna go and build that application. We will expand on that a little bit more. And so you're going to, there's no coding involved, so you don't have to do any coding there yet. I just want you to go on there and then design the user interface. Okay? So I have the instructions in here, and you can name it over time or whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. I have the instruction in here, this file. So if you click on that, and I mentioned, it's kind of like how I want it, but then I'm not gonna, deduct any points if you don't have exactly like I have here. You don't have to have exactly the same, but it should look very identical. Okay, so here, if I want to expand that folder a little bit, all right. So I ask you to create the interface, set the properties, and then the code will do this later. Okay, so for now, you're basically just doing part 1 and maybe part 2. So it will look something like this. I say Her Enterprise. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Okay. Whatever company name you call it, that's fine. It should have an employee name field, the hours worked, and the hourly rate for that employee, and it has a button called Calculate Pay. One thing we forgot to do is the _C here. It talks in the book, but I'll go over really quickly how to do that. This is just a shortcut key. When you press the, how the Alt shortcut key, like Alt C, and it will do that for you. And then regular pay, these are different fields. These are all label fields. And then this dollar should be all bold. Okay, so you basically build this interface, this form here. And I have the instructions in here. The form name should be called Form Payroll. Okay, you should have the name. Oh, you should know the name that already. The controls, you should have all these controls. I have here the list of all the controls. I have this many labels, this many text boxes, and this many buttons. And these are the names. Okay? So when you have a label for the title of that page, it's a label, so it should be called LBL company name, right? Remember we did that, right? And then employee name is also LBL employee name. See, they're all labels. The text box, these are for input. Okay? These numbers here, I just put some arbitrary numbers here. It could be anything, just to show you that when we input the data, it will be in this kind of format. So the text box for the name will be TXT, employee name, TXT hours worked, TXT hourly rate. Okay, this is for the input. That's why the input, we don't put $sign when we input the data in there. On the output though, you can, I use TXT, but if you want to use label, that's fine too. It doesn't matter for the output. Okay, so I put because the output, when we format it, you want to add the $sign to these values. And these we can do it manually, or we can do it programmatically. I'll show you do that later. Okay, so the output should have these names in here. If you want to use label, which is fine with me, this would be LBL, regular pay, LBL. Or if you do that, you have an issue because now you have a overlap field here. So you'll make sure you name correctly. And then we have one button, just one button called Calculate Pay, and it's called BTN Calculate Pay. Okay, so this is the all the controls. And then down here, I kind of walk you through how you can set up your file, your application. Right? You can design looks like this, and you can center, align it. If you want to use those special tools to align your properties, your objects, that's fine. If you want to just eyeball it, that's fine too. Okay, I'm not really strict on that part.
Do we customize the look of it ourselves, or do we have to follow your steps step by step?
You can customize it, it's fine. Well, I mean, it needs to look kind of similar to what I have here. But if we use different font, different color background, that's up to you. Okay. And if you want to expand this button here to make it really big on the side here or something, you can change it a little bit. It's fine.
That empty space next to the button.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to change it a little bit around, it's fine. As long as I see that it looks similar to this, it's understandable. Then I think that should be okay. Okay. So So the name here, I show you how you can make it so it's the center. Again, it's entirely up to you, but I'm not going to really strict on that. I show you also the font size. These are mostly just recommendations versus, how you should do it. But in the real world, usually you follow directions, right? In the real world, if they want to be 20 font, it has to be 20 font size because that's how they want it, right? Your customer wants it that way. So that's also important. Controls, how you would set up so they align the left alignment here. The access key. This is what I want to go over before I let you guys do your work. The access key is the underscore of the C. This is one happens when you do a shortcut, like you do a control C or control something, right? Like control C for copy, control N for new, and so on. That's what it means. It's a shortcut. So the tab order I mentioned earlier is your tab order should look like this. Okay, your 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one should be the company name. Okay. And I think that's it. So this is all I'm looking for. You don't have to do any coding involved. We'll do that next time. Okay. Any questions on this assignment besides the access control? Okay, so it will look something like this. And feel free to make it pretty if you want. Otherwise, it's not required. Okay, so the access control key, last thing I want to show you, like right here, the submit. This is like, notice if you look up here, you see the file with underscore F, underscore E, underscore V, and so on. These are called access keys, right? And it's a shortcut key when you press like the Alt, right? So if I press the Alt key, it comes on, the underscore. If I press the Alt again, it goes off, right? This is a shortcut if I don't have a mouse, and I can press the Alt key, and then I can press V to view, load the view menu, right? Same thing. So in here you also see if I press Alt, it's gone again. But you can do the same with your form here. So in this, when I run this, notice when I run it, you see that in this application, if you press the Alt key, it doesn't do anything here. So what the access key does is, if you press the Alt key, you should put a special character under this S here for submit. This declare maybe a Alt, C. And so on to clear it, right, without using the mouse. Okay, so we'll do that by doing this way. You click on the control, okay, and then right down here in the text area, okay, right in front of this word text, the S here. If you put the ampersand symbol like that in front of the S, only one character. Okay, as soon as I do that, I exit out of that area. You see there's an underscore S right here, under the S. Okay, so that becomes the hotkey, if you want to call it that way. It is the hotkey for that button. Okay, so the C clear, I could do the same thing. I want it maybe to go under the C, so I put the N symbol there, ampersand there. So now if I do Alt C, it will clear the form. Alt S, it will submit it for me. Okay, so if I run it now. Okay, without using the form, put some name here. Okay, if I press Alt, notice that the underlined score comes in, right? Now I can put Alt S, submits it for me, right? Or if I put it back on here, if I press Alt C, clears it. Okay, so that's the access key. And you can place it in any character you want. You can't just duplicate it. You cannot have like 2 S's in here or 2 C's and so on. It's confusing. So the program won't let you do it, right? So you can do that there. It doesn't have to be the first character. I can say, you know what? I don't want to be a C. I want that to be maybe under the F over here. So you can put it under the F in front of that. There. So now F is underscored, underlined. And now you run this. If you type in something and you do an Alt F, clears the form. Okay, so that is the access key it talks about in that chapter. All right, any questions? If not, then I know I used a lot of time, but the rest of the hour I'll leave it to you, and you want to do the assignments or the walkthrough exercises, that's fine. If you think that you're too tired, you want to head out, that's okay too. That's up to you. All right, and then next week, please read through chapter 3. Okay, we'll go over chapter 3. We'll talk about variable names. How do you do that? We did some examples in there already of not really variables, but the object name, those are actually variable names. and we'll go over that next week.